So whenever you're working in Photoshop, you can always adjust images in a number of different ways. I'm just going to hide some of these layers here so you can see what's going on. So I've got a picture of myself here, and up above this I have what's called a gradient map, which is just a gradient over top of me. So if I just turn on the gradient by itself, you don't really see anything. When I turn the picture of me on, you can see there's a bit of a gray gradient, just like in the little image here. I also have something called curves, so if I turn this on, you can see it changes the color of my face. These are adjustment layers, and you can find a number of them down here in this little drop-down menu. So just as an example, if I want to choose hue and saturation, I can choose this and I can change the color of my document. Now this affects everything underneath this particular adjustment layer. But if I hold down my Option key and I click between the two layers, you can see my cursor turns into this little black and white icon. And if I click, you get a little arrow and it says basically this is attached to just the layer beneath it. So you can use adjustment layers to attach to specific layers. And then the other cool thing about this, because this white area is what we call a mask, you can take your paintbrush, oops, deselect that, and you can paint out certain areas. So maybe I don't want my lips and my eyes to be green. I switch my colors from white and black to black and white. I can just paint that out. There we go. There, weird. And you can see right there in the adjustment layer, I have a little smiley face, which is just what I erased. So adjustment layers are something you can experiment with. The other way you can manipulate photos is to go up to image and choose adjustments. And these are the same things as your adjustment layers, but it doesn't give you the same control. So some of these will work very well and some of them won't. I think it's a good idea to experiment with this. So if I choose something like shadows and highlights, for example, you can see I can increase the amount of shadow, or I can increase the amount of highlights just by simply dragging around a slider here. If I wanted to change something like hue and saturation, I could choose that, and I could brighten this up if I wanted. I could darken it, whatever I want. Okay, so the idea is that you choose an image and you try out an adjustment from the image adjustments drop down from up here and one from the layers palette. So for example, if I want to choose Hdr Toning, I can manipulate this to look a number of different ways. And you just hit OK, and Photoshop does the rest. So there'll be some files in your folder for you to try this out with. So we want you to do an adjustment with one photo and save it, and then we want you to do another one where we can see that you put in an adjustment layer from this drop down here. Okay, and that's it.